I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe.
What's up, friends? We're back. We're Black and Curious. I'm Kandron.
Hey, it is Dehjai. Sorry, y'all. I'm all in my lashes. But how y'all doing? Welcome back.
Going on.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. So if you've never been here before, welcome. We do a cross section between pop culture and real life. Today we are talking student loans, the repayments, what is it called?
The new student loan forgiveness, Biden's new thing.
First of all, I want to give a complete shout out to the doll Stephanie over at Wine and Chill.
Yes.
When I say the doll broke it all the way down from top to bottom, so we're not going to regurgitate everything that she said. We're going to send you to her video because it is excellent. Absolutely. It's long, but it's excellent. And if you see me in the comments, I was there live commenting my little heart out. Because I had feelings. I had thoughts and I had feelings. So, where would you like to begin?
Full disclosure, let's get the emotional side of it out of the way, or the emotion side of it out of the way. So when this new thing came down, or whatever, this new executive order, I reached out to Ken and I was like, honestly, we could probably talk about the student loan stuff. And at the time of me mentioning it, Ken was absolutely like, I don't want to.
I didn't say that. I said I was having
about it. I don't know about it.
I said I was having a response about it, and I did. And honestly, Stephanie, being over there at Wine and Chill, kind of laid out why I was having a response about it, and she did it. I think it was the same day that her video came out, or the live that she did about student loan debt. And just so everybody's on the same page, if you're not aware, Biden signed a executive order forgiving about $10,000 for student debt for anyone who makes under $125,000, and also $20,000 for anyone who is a Pell Grant recipient. So, and my issue, this goes into my issues.
Girl, we in the same boat, I'm sure.
Which are many. My primary issue, sorry, this is bugging me. My primary issue is that, the framing of this and how they are framing this as see, we're keeping our promise to the Black community. And it's just like,
that's the face.
Are you? Are you, my guy? Are you sure?
Right.
Because
we don't feel like it.
Are you sure? Because
it's a mess. I mean, I am grateful for whatever little help that we get, but I think that for the vast majority of Black people, and we are Black women, obviously, it's like dollars to the debt that we have.
Also, congratulations to anyone who this applies to, and I'm very glad that you get a clean slate. I'm so happy for you. I have cousins, that
I get it. I get it too.
That they're going to have this debt forgiven. But I have a few. I wrote my issues down, honey.
So before we get into the issues, we totally skipped what we normally do every week, and that's listen, I got right into it because this is something that has been looming over us for a while. So anyway, what are you drinking? I'm having a glass of Prosecco.
I'm having a sparkling rosé with a little Chambord because the rosé was quite dry. So I had to give it a little boost, a little piece of Chambord in there to kind of
razzle dazzle.
Bring it to life. So that's what I'm having.
So issues.
Okay. First of all, I'm just gonna stick with my framing issue. My framing issue is that they are talking about this as look, we help the Blacks. And it's see, all of these Pell recipients are getting 20K, the blacks. And I'm just like,
When
I
you
am
miss
to the
that,
point.
the blacks, this
Oh,
the palm color people.
well, yes, because these people are going to benefit more than these. Um, so PM the blacks, we have helped them because Pell. And I'm just like, y'all know all black people aren't poor.
Hello.
Like, and my thing is, again, I understand some people come from like very under-resourced communities, and I'm happy for your 20 grand that you're getting on your student loans. I hope it makes an impact.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't grow up poor. Like, and I'm still first generation in my family to go to college. So I'm still meeting with a lot of those struggles of like not really knowing what's going on, of taking too many loans. Well, not even too many loans, because I did fine for undergrad, but taking loans out, not really having the information, not really having the resources, not really having the connections. And then because of where I fell at for my law school, like I graduated in 2010, which is like the middle of the recession. So
So you
I
really
didn't
was out here
come
struggling.
out of school making a boatload of money, which we'll get to later. But it's just like, you know, are you really helping the blacks?
You're
And
not.
like with Wine and Chill in her thing, she had like charts and graphs. Y'all go watch that. But she
I love
basically,
her.
yes, basically was saying like most of the loans that black women in particular, who are the base in a lot of ways of the Democratic Party, the most reliable segment of the Democratic Party, is like our loans are from grad school. And this only applies to undergrad. Like I had very little undergrad loans. I had, well, now they're ballooned out of the way because I consolidated them like an idiot, because that's what the law school told me to do, to
Mhm.
consolidate. But
And they tell us to do all of that. And now we
yeah.
have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in freaking debt.
And so it's like, girl, that did not help the girls that you, and like as a cohort, black women have like on average for, not all black women, but like, you know, for this group,
Majority.
it's like $45,000 worth of student loan debt. So what the hell is $10,000 or 20? I mean, 20 if you're
45 is
doing
low.
good.
Shit.
Yeah, 45 is low, but like you're, and that's from grad school. So like these things don't even necessarily apply to us at all. Like
Mm-mm.
at all.
I think that for me, like the biggest, like random. For me, the biggest thing is like, so the executive order came down, and then you had all the Republican people that was talking about they don't think that this
Girl,
should happen. Like Margaret Taylor Greene was one of the main ones that was on a news circuit. I don't know if she was on Fox News or something else. She was hollering about how, you know, this, whatever, it's not right, basically. And then you had the White House Twitter gate, where they
baby.
basically was like, girl, what are you talking about? Each of you individually, somebody, I don't remember who it was on that list, and I should have took a screenshot, but somebody on that list had $3.1 million in PPP loan forgiveness. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
so
like
it's
said, I should have
okay.
just applied for a PPP loan and hope that that got forgiven. Is that what I should have done? So then maybe I could have just paid my student loans off.
But my thing is, even if we had done something like that, because we are of this brigade of people, right? They're going to investigate us before they investigate the others.
I did appreciate the White House comms over there clapping back, like for everybody who had so much to say.
Yeah, like put all them people on Front Street. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't want people, you don't want to even, because at this point this is not even helping to balance the wage gap as it relates to specifically Black women and like American dollars in general. Like this is more so like I said from the start, it's like dollars to most of us in terms of what it's taken off, because a lot of us have 6 figures in fucking student loan debt. Excuse me, y'all.
It's sense to me, and like
it's just frustrating because it's like how it's like it's that thing of like what the elders say, good for the gander but not for the goose, or good for the goose and not for the gander.
Yeah.
Like, so it's okay for you to get $3.1 million in PPP loan forgiveness, but then that 3.1 million can't go towards disenfranchised people in the people, your constituents. Like, what are you talking about?
We know that they don't
care.
They don't care. They don't care. Handout to the middle class or something, and it's just like, well, people been giving handouts to y'all forever, and y'all still getting handouts.
Hello.
Tax breaks through PPP loans, y'all find a way to get a handout. But when it comes time for somebody else to get a handout, which is not even really that much, like, please go have a seat. My last two things that I wanted to say. First of all, like, obviously I graduated over 10 years ago from my last bout of education. Probably likely my very, well, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see. Something I will kind of low-key want to do, but we'll see. Not like that. Please don't get excited.
No, I'm just, listen, y'all. So the face that I just made is because Kandron is the queen of, don't, like, college is a scam. Don't do it.
Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. I've already got the debt, and I'm probably gonna always have it. Well, my grandma prayed over it, so I'm gonna just give it to God at this point.
Hello. Like, let that when they transferring over everybody's loans, let mine be something that get lost in the fray.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, I mean,
like, what? It's paid in full?
Who cares? But nah, I'm just like, the whole system is rigged because also Stephanie talked about the income-based plan and how that's a zoo. Because, okay,
that is the worst zoo.
It is the worst zoo because basically you just end up, like, I owe double what I took now.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that either. That's why I was like, y'all need to watch her information. I'm sorry, Ken, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I owe basically double what I took, but this is because I could not afford to pay my loans fresh out of school because of when I graduated. I did not have a good job. I actually had to put them hoes in forbearance because I was just like, I can't, this is stressing me out even trying to figure out how to deal with this, let alone even doing an income-based plan because I had other things I had to take care of, and I was just like, okay, I just need to put them in forbearance and figure it out. So it's like I found when I was moving out of my old place, I found one of my first student loan bills, and it was for like $800, which is a lot, but it's not doable now. But I'm just like, I couldn't afford that then. So now I'm just been racking up interest, building on interest. And now I owe double what I took. So I'm not pressed. I don't care. I'm not paying it back.
I'm like, I do know someone, well, I don't know them directly. Someone that I know, she dated this guy who just kind of like stopped paying on his student loans. And so like he was just in default, so he can't go back to school and like finish because he doesn't have the means to do so, but also because when he was there and he left, he didn't pay the loans or whatever. So I'm like, okay, but doesn't that mean they just started snatching the money out of your
yeah, they do.
Like,
no,
how does that work?
I'm not getting that brazen where
I'm like, shoot,
I'm gonna
do
go,
it. No, I'm kidding.
I'll be on the income-based plan until and I know they're supposed to be like after a certain number of payments or a certain number of years, it's supposed to be forgiven or whatever, but that even you get a tax bill for that, so whatever.
Oh, I just
so,
like
yeah.
What is her name? Damn it. Wine and Chill. I forgot her name. Stephanie. She basically was like Kandron always says, college is a scam. Like they tell you all this, and I think to circle back around to like our block that we just ended, which is the burnout conversation. One of the things that I was that I have been carrying, and it just like blew up and like just I exploded with it talking with my therapist, was like this idea that you go to school all this long, or not even just that, you are told from as a young Black girl living in the South, you are told from, you know, like elementary into middle school up to high school, 100%. That if you go off to college and you go into your profession, that you're going to make all this money and it's going to be wop, wop, wop. And then you get to the stage in life that we are now. For me specifically, the thing that blew up for me was me feeling like, you know, I done did all the things that I was supposed to do in the time frames in which I was supposed to do it. And I feel like I don't have anything to show for it.
Yes. That was
debt.
A big part of the break that I just took. I'm glad you wrote this in, but that's big part of the break I took, where I was just like, I have nothing to show for this. Like, I have nothing to show for it. And it's funny because I was actually a part of a somebody's graduate work. So basically, she had put out a tweet that was like, hey, I'm interviewing Black millennials about burnout and the economy and all of this stuff. Like, if anybody wants to participate, let me know. So I filled out her form, never heard from her for like several months. And then I heard back from her, and we had a whole conversation. She was like, we're all saying the same thing. Like, everybody's saying the same thing of feeling like you can't really buy a house. You can't really do any of the mile markers. You can't do anything because you're saddled with this debt. And then on top of that, like, and then on top of it is like, some of us are finally, like, for me, I'll speak personally, I'm just starting to eke up toward the top end of the cutoff. And now you're saying, oh, well, now you make too much. And it's just like, do I? Because I also live in a high cost of living city. I live in Miami, or right outside of Miami. My rent is high as shit. It just got increased 25%. And so, yes, my rent went up 25% in 1 year. Yes. So my rent just went up 25%, but I make too much to qualify for your pittance of a student loan forgiveness. Please save it. Save it. Save it. And I'm not saying like whatever coastal elite, whatever, blah, 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 call me whatever you want. But it's just like, it's not giving what y'all are saying that it's giving White House.
No, because the other thing too is like, even back to like the disparity gap, like, even once you get, so Kandron is in a position where she's finally eked up to the top end to be etched out of the receiving of the coins, right?
I might get it.
But at the same token, it's
depending on what tax year they pay.
Like, it's taken, and for a lot of us, it takes us like 10 years just to get to like 80 grand a year.
Yeah.
And 80 grand a year technically is like 70 once they finish with the taxes. So you're still not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm
like, I took the loans thinking that I took the loans during a good time in the economy, right before the economy shut down and like the whole recession or whatever, because I went to school in 2007. So that was like right before all the chaos started happening in 2008. So I'm like watching all of this happen. So I went to school under the impression that I would get a job that was going to pay for these loans. Like, I did this. It's the same thing we were talking about, I think, in the last episode about thinking in bets. It's like, you're betting that this job is going to materialize, but it did not. It did not. And when I graduated, like, people were offering attorneys, first year attorneys, like 30 grand with a straight face. And I'm just like, 30 grand, I could work retail. I could have been a paralegal. I was making more than that. Yeah, I was like, I was making more than that as a paralegal. I didn't even have to do this. So it almost feels like a punishment. And a huge slap in the face, to be honest, for those of us who, you know, out here trying. And
so for those who identify like me, like, I, you know, obviously we went to college, we talk about, that's how Kandron and I met, but like, having gone to college, having gone to graduate school, in all of the time since, I have worked like a retail sort of job. This is in the last couple of years, is the first time I'm in corporate America. And so for those of us who have had those retail jobs, like, you've never made more. Like, I think the most of the people that I worked with that were in retail, I think the most I've ever seen any of them make was like maybe 55, 60. And
I mean, if you work like luxury retail where you have your own book of business, you can make good money. But
but most people don't do that.
But again, that's like more like, you got to live on the coast for something like that. You're not only on the coast, but you have to live
and in a major area,
have the coin to spend for you. And you know what I'm saying? And that means that you have to pay more for,
cost of living
and all of those things. So
It's just ridiculous. Like, I appreciate the fact that so now instead of it being 10% of your income, it's going to be 5% of the discretionary income. But my issue with that is like that needs to be stipulated to what you actually take home. Because if my salary a year is $85,000, but what I actually get back is more like $65,000, like that is, where am I supposed to pull this extra money from?
Yeah, which again, it has always been my complaint is like, y'all not factoring in cost of living for this. And like, again, I think my reaction to it, like, honestly, I did not think that he was going to forgive any more debt than this. I really did not. Like, I was under no illusions, but it's just like the road thing. Like, we had that conversation too. It's like, we knew it was coming, but we knew it wasn't going to be favorable, but it still stung. And it's just like, when I realized like, okay, student loans are going to be back in next year, it's like, oh yes, I remember why I could not afford real estate and to buy a condo in Miami when it was cheap. Why couldn't I do that? Because I was giving all my extra discretionary income to student loans.
I don't know. Y'all get down in the comments. Y'all let us know what you work with. I have said jokingly on a number of occasions on this podcast that I have a house note in educational debt.
Oh, mine is a mortgage.
On
a nice house.
I mean, not even a more. I'm saying like
yeah, no, mine is
so
nice.
like that's a small. Maybe it's like a condo, like a 1-bedroom condo in this market.
Yeah, in this market, mine would maybe buy me a nice condo and still buy me a nice it wouldn't buy me a nice condo here. I'd be living in a shack here, but when I first moved down here, if I this much would have bought me a very lovely condo in this raggedy ass city. So it's what it is. I'm not gonna stress myself out about it, but I'm not gonna lie, I did have a very visceral response, and I was happy that, like I said before, Stephanie put that video out to like, because it was helping me to process through like my thoughts about it and how I felt about the entire thing. One more quick thing, a note. This is not about student loans. This is about the infrastructure, what is it? I forget what it's called. So there's like an infrastructure piece to the what is it called? Inflation Reduction Act.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Buttigieg has been like stumping, on the news about this and like, oh, it's gonna help communities and all of this stuff. And like, we know that we ran highways through Black communities before. So, we'd really like to make some of those things right. And I'm just like, okay, be careful, because you might be out here perpetuating the same crap. Because if you think you're just going to go and pour money back into those communities, I have news for you. Those are the same communities that are being gentrified. So,
like, we live in two cities that have major like infrastructure issues as it relates to the Highway Act of what was that, in the 60s or the 50s or something like that?
They ran the highway over town basically, and
they ran it through it.
Ran through it. Well, no, it's like a shadow, and they ran through it. So it's like, and now they're trying to relocate 95 parts of 95 so that it doesn't do that anymore. But I'm like, whose benefit? Because now it's like white people are moving in. So like, to whose benefit? Here's what you need to do: just pay us reparations and let us do with our money what we will.
Hello. Because that as it relates to spending money or the dollar in this country, you take it to the Black community first so that we can make it popular, then everybody else decides that they want to jump on the bandwagon. So if you want things to turn around so that we're not in this recession that's not called a recession, then the what Kandron just said needs to be the precipice of the point. Like, y'all need to just pay people what they are owed, reparations, period.
Full stop.
Like, figure that shit out, because like, this is ridiculous.
Because trying to like carve out a little here and a little there,
it ain't working.
It's not working. And I'm always like, this whole entire week I have been brought back to mind of the saying of like, equality is not equity. And that's what this is. Like, you're trying to do a broad base, like, here we're so generous, and that's not equity. That is not equity. That is not equity to the people who have like, done the work, done the things,
blood, sweat,
whose
and tears.
families have put blood, sweat, and tears into the soil. Like, that is not giving back to those people. You are freeing a lot of white people from their student loan debt and letting them go live their lives and leaving the rest of us behind. So let's call a thing a thing. That's all I'm saying.
And like, to no fault of their own, like, yeah, there are, you know, white people that are poor, just like
Of course.
brown people, but at the same token, they've had more advantages than brown people in this country. My stand just fell. Sorry, y'all.
And I truly hope that they apply for their Pell Grants so that they can get $20,000 on their loans too. So, you know, because again, Black does not automatically equal poor.
Before we run off altogether, sorry, y'all, I just thought about something else. Stephanie also brought up another thing that I feel like as Black Americans, we know about, but we don't necessarily think about it. And she said something to the effect of Black immigrants that come into this country tend to fare better than Black Americans for the fact that like they do like community crowdsourcing, essentially, like they share amongst each other to make sure that you're able to pull yourself up in this country, whereas we don't have that advantage. And then also they're looked at differently because they're not quote unquote Black American.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, I agree with that. But also, like, and she noted this in the video also, like, the immigrants that come here are not, they're not the most wealthy, but they're solidly middle class.
In their own countries. Yeah.
So in their own countries. So they don't come over here with nothing. This idea like you come with nothing. Like, I don't know.
Some do, but not all.
Unless you're like a refugee or something. But like most of my friends who have come here did not come with nothing. And then, like you said, they have the community aspect of everything as well. So, and like I said, I grew up in a community, so I can say without a doubt, like, my family very much is a community. And I lived with, you know, like my uncle, I went to my uncle's house after school because my mom worked, and we stayed with my aunt when my mom was going through some other things. We stayed with my grandparents when my mom was building a house. Like, I'm very much, it's a community vibe where I'm from, but I know that's not everybody's story. And that's by design because of how this country treats people, basically, and treats Black people. So.
I'm with our guest spot that we'll have up in a couple of weeks, where it's just like, you know what, we need to just figure out how to be nomadic and go live somewhere else. Our friend of the show, which will hopefully you guys will see soon before this one, most likely. She in London. So like, we gotta go.
So anyways, let us know how you feel. I hope and pray that, you know, some of you are getting complete debt relief. That's amazing. If that is your story, I'm so happy for you. And yeah, drop down in the comments. Let us know what you think. And we will talk to you guys next time. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us everywhere. blackandcurious.com is all down in the description box.
Peace out, y'all.